What is up, everybody? JD here. Hope you're doing well today. Really excited to go over this new American Blade Works Model 3 I got in. Let's get it. All right, I've had the Model 3 auto side opening auto on the channel, but I learned recently they have a manual button liner lock that is available, and I was able to snag one. I'll leave links down below for places that you can check out. Some will be affiliate links that help the channel, just full disclosure, and of course thank you if you choose to use any affiliate links to help the channel, but there's no guarantee that I'll be able to link it to somewhere that's in stock. The best thing I can say is follow their social medias and then check to see if they have newsletters by providing your email at their website. I know it's a little annoying sometimes to get a bunch of emails, but it is a good way to check to see when these will come in stock. But Magna Cut blade steel, same modified sheep's foot blade on here that you found with the side opening auto. Very nice coated aluminum, and you have a titanium backspacer and pocket clip on this model, and as you can see, it is a button actuated liner lock. Now I'm going to tell you right out the front, first thing that I wish they had was given just a little bit more space here to get in there. With my larger fingers, it's a little hard for me to actuate that. Now, having said that, the button part of it works very well. As you can see, opens and closes very nicely. I'm able to operate this very effectively. The blade came nice and centered, and actually, I didn't check the centering after I installed the skiffs, which have been in here for a little while. So having said that, it looks like I did knock it out of center a little bit here. And it is a T15 and T7 hardware. So I do apologize for not checking that previously. What probably happened is I probably tightened down the screws that I used more and didn't really think about checking it when I finished the video, which you will see that video after today, and you will probably see, because I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't. So there we go. Nice and centered. Let's see if it stays centered. I should probably do that before I put the bits away, huh? Don't judge me. Actually, you can. I don't really care. There we go. Yep. And it has stayed center. So I like the action. Very nice. I think these are tie connector thumb studs. I don't think they're doing them internally. At least to my knowledge. The reason I say I think they're tie connectors is because I actually have a set left that I held on to. You can see here, those are the screws, and yeah, they totally look like tie connectors. So I think they're just using tie connector bearings, thumb studs. And I say that because I actually have a set that I was debating putting on my Sabenza, because I do like their thumb studs. But just fantastic action overall. Comfortable ergos on here, as mentioned on the side opening auto version. My one wish is I wish that this had been knocked back just a little bit more, or I don't know that the tab could have come out more. What I'm having to do to kind of get to that is I'm kind of having to, I think I mentioned this before, really easy on a tight, if you have large hands like me. If you have medium hands, this might not be an issue for you. Also, if you like to lift up, it is a little snug for me. Normally, this is not hard to do, but again, it is a button actuated liner lock, so that works really well. But I do wish it had a little bit more relief there. What's happening is I'm having to let it drop, and you can see every time it's nicking the nail. I can't quite get out of there fast enough in order to avoid that. I'm worried about trying to have it knocked in also, because this is actually a really nice coating that they put on this outer aluminum scale. I don't think Jay Dizzle will watch this, so I'm just going to ask him if he'd be willing to attempt to scale for this, but he usually avoids nested liners, so that does make it a little bit tough. Internally here, the bearings are riding on the steel liners and directly on the blade, so no washer in there. Generally, they're using like a little bit of a hardened liner, or they are using a hardened liner. Words are hard today. The couple things that I want to talk about since we're here. So a little bit of tight access to that lock bar, and because it was a little light, I tried to adjust the tension to make it a little bit more crisp, and what I've created is a little bit of lock stick, but what I'm hoping is that over time this will break in and wear in, and I will also clean it after about a month of carry. And yes, that does mean 4 weeks worth of carrying in order to try to break that in a little bit, also to get rid of a little bit of the oil, grime, and dirt. And that can, with that break in, eliminate a little bit of that lock stick. You can also try to have it carbonized, which would help as well. Actually, carbonized would help a lot, but just then cleaning it already got rid of a little bit of that lock stick. So it may be that yours truly put too much oil in there, and that could be the cause of why it is sticking a little bit. So I always say let it break in a little bit, clean it, see if it remains before you reach out to the manufacturer, because it might be something while it's in your possession that you can still fix. All right, the other thing that I want to talk about is it was a little bit light on the detent. I would have liked it to have been a little bit better tuned so I didn't have to play with it, and I probably could play with this a little bit more. I probably could lighten it just a skosh, I mean a very little amount, and it would still be at a very perfect place. Right now it's kind of on the heavy side, and I think we could adjust that out, and maybe at the end of the video I'll try to do that and see if it makes a difference if you're curious about that. The other thing too, my tie connectors came loose after a couple of days of having the knife opening and closing it, trying to break it in. I did notice that, and all I did to tighten them, because there's no access to put like an Allen key or torque bits in there, is I just held one side with the fingers, and then I double wrapped a cloth and pair of pliers and just tightened it until it felt like nothing was moving. You don't need to over grip it. Once you tie them down to that point or tighten them down to that point, they will be fine. So those are the little minor things with this, but again, I think an adjustment to that lock bar, which we can do together at the end here in case you don't want to tune in for the video. The disassembly is going to be your go-to for the tools and everything that you're going to need. What I'll do is I'll just kind of skip to where I've taken it apart and then skip back to where I put it back together to see if we can get that adjustment. But let's do some size comparisons before we jump into that. Okay, just in case you did not see the auto side opening video because you're not into autos, it is more comparable to the bug out in size and a little bit smaller than the bodacious. And I probably honestly would say it's like smack dab in between, even though it's very minimal, the difference between the bug out to the Model 3 to the bodacious. All right, guys, here it is compared to the Thunder Beast and my Sweeney V2. You can see it is very comparable to the Sweeney, just a little bit more handle length and very similar blade length. I'll get these out of the way. We're going to grab the scale and check the weight on this one. All right, scale out and on. Let's check the weight on this. Very nice, coming in at 4.8 ounces with aluminum scale, steel liners, 50% back length, 50% length back spacer, and titanium pocket clip, and a generous blade stock on here. Even though it does get down to a nice thin edge, I really don't think 4.8 is that bad of a weight. All right, let's really quick take the scale off and see if we can adjust this just a little bit. It just needs a little bit let out. All right, we have this out. So what we're going to do, the way they cut this makes it really easy, or makes it easier to kind of adjust back. So I see the gap is right about where my finger is going to go. So what I'm going to do is just kind of leave my fingernail there and just see if I can go back the other way a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. It looks like we got it. All right, I'm going to put it back together and we'll check it. All right, we're centered. Oh yeah, a little bit lighter. So what I would say is this is kind of 6.5 out of 10 for as tough as it can be. Like this is a sweet spot right here. No stick, locking up good, good action, no play, no stick. Yeah, we nailed it. All right, so the tune definitely helps. It also helps a little bit with this getting rid of that stick. Yeah, so it's not so strong that it's forcing the wedge a little bit too much. And I can kind of use the thumbnail a little bit to get in there. I do wish it had a little bit more lock bar access. It's, you know, a very small shop. So while I would like to say I would like to see these tie connectors come to where they don't back out, that unfortunately isn't the case. Now, a friend of mine did say his, when he was firing it really hard, and I've tried to fire it as hard as I can, he said that it was breaking loose. So what I'm going to do is a proper spine whack test. We're going to check the lockup and see if I can get it to break. So we're going to do one hit, reset the lock because it's meant to simulate an accidental spine whack. We're not batoning or hammering with the lock. We're going to mess up the lock. We're going to mess up the security of the lock. So what you're doing when you're doing that is you're impacting the lock, which is allowing it to flex some, because it does have some flex, and then you're causing it to kind of bounce around. That's not none of these tests are great, but I'm telling you that is not a very accurate way to test up your lock. So we're going to test it right here safely, hand out of the blade path. All right, going to go ahead and reset that. One more. All right, we're going to reset it. Now the spine is a good place to test it, but a lot of people have been telling me to test the tip. All right, let's reset it. I'm not going to do too many of these because I don't want to damage my personal property. All right, I'm satisfied. To me, that I simulated 4 accidental spine whacks without batoning or hammering the knife, and it passed. That to me makes me feel confident that if for some reason I was being careless and I were to hit something on the back of the knife, I don't feel like it would close. Those were pretty solid whacks. You know, I would think that would probably be even a little bit harder what an accidental, like, bumping into something would replicate here with what we did today. All right, so let's go ahead and final thoughts and impressions on this. Some minor little things there. I just bumped the microphone with my hand, which is why you saw me draw back. I can't quite use the liner. I would like to be able to use the liner, but I just don't have enough clearance, and it is a little tight even to like do the lift up or the slide over. So I would like a little bit more clearance. I'm going to email him and give him that feedback directly. Tie connectors, studs I fixed myself. They came loose as I was handling the knife. I did tune the lock to my liking, the detent to my liking, but in all fairness, it came perfectly fine to where it would lock. So for me on this particular one, I think I'm going to go, I think 8.1 is fair. I think with better lock bar access, that would be the big thing that would raise this up for me, but it is a manual button lock that operates very similar to like a top liner lock, which you would in that instance you would never have access to the compression lock. You would only operate it through the button. So to me, that's why I'm not being as harsh on this one. Let me know what you think about this one down in the comments below. Again, links, liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing are all great ways to help support the channel. Special shout out and thank you to my channel members. Love you guys. That's it for me today. I'm out of here. Catch you guys on the next one. Goodbye.